Greetings, dear ones. I'm Cryon of Magnetic Service. If someone were simply to walk in now, it would seem odd. What is transpiring at the moment, many would not agree with. The idea that you would have messages from a source that many don't even recognize is real. Not just messages, but concepts, benevolence, oneness, beauty. And this is what makes the difference between perhaps those who sit here and those who would not. And it never makes any group right or wrong, for all are seen the same from the creative source. But this oneness that we talk about is a discovery. You live your life in a structure that you have been told that you need to have. And for most of you, it is a comfortable structure. For it truly defines you, your life, who you are, and others. But I want to talk about discovery. For the most beautiful thing here in this room is what we will call the potential for things unseen and unexpected and beautiful. It's the morning. It's the first thing. And for those who have just come to listen to this in whatever place on the planet you are, the air has been purified and it has been templated with intent. The mystical sounds of the didgeridoo represent the music of the continent. And it is mystical. For it sets an energy and sets a stage for contemplation and for neutrality. The neutrality is you dropping the structure. And that is difficult. It is so difficult no matter who you are, no matter where you've come from, even if you were born here, even if your tribe and your mob is 40,000 years old, you still have a box. And the box may be beautiful and it may work for you, but there's still discovery. Outside the box, there is a chance for things you do not know yet, for stories which have not yet been sung, and a beautiful revolution of energy. And the nice thing about all of this, dear ones, that perhaps you haven't thought of, is that the energy of the planet knows about all of it. Many years we have been speaking of the stars, and you see them very clearly here. We have spoken of the precession of the equinox because all of the ancients on the planet who look at the stars know the scenario. The 2012 scenario has marked the center of a new beginning. We told you that there were 18 years of change beginning until 2012, and then 18 years later, that represents the movement of the stars. This is not an esoteric measurement. You can see it in the sky. So often the energies of consciousness relate to that which is Gaia, to the land, to the movement of the earth, to the stars, all one with you. What is your discovery today? May I make a suggestion? That your discovery be that, the beginning of that, which would encompass everything with you. And you walk outside and you see a small insect, and you would bend down perhaps and examine that the Creator is in there. And that there is a oneness perhaps that would overwhelm you in its beauty. And you know you're cared for. The boxes that you build around culture, your lives, the way you think things are, often keep God out. The discovery of the day, in this a fresh time in this morning, one of them would be that you have an alliance with more than you think. If you really want to see how energy and physics would work, you'd have to understand that the very thoughts that you have today have energy. And it's more than just energy, it's physics. We have told you there would come a time when consciousness can be measured and seen for its beauty and its strength. The Creator is the master physicist. And so it is not you becoming scientific. It is you realizing a bigger scenario of the creation of God. Indeed, if your consciousness has energy, do you understand that the box you build around what you believe is your reality can stop the energy if you really close the box? There are some sitting here who are having a nice time, and they're enjoying family and friends. They wanted to come and sit for some reason and just enjoy. And perhaps in the last day or so, they didn't expect some of the energies to come at them as they did. They feel perhaps incomplete for the first time, missing something. I want to tell you, dear one, there is no incompleteness. In fact, we will discuss that a little later today. What you are feeling is the fact that the box, which is so comfortable around you, has started to melt. And it is not settling to many to open a box to something that you don't know about. And what I want to promise you is this, is that there is a benevolent God that represents all that is inside and outside of your box. And if you should be one who would say, just for a moment, I will drop the barrier of what I believe or think is real, and just for a moment would experiment by letting go and saying, what else could there be? I will promise you this, that all you will find is benevolence. There is nothing frightening or frustrating or scary with God. I want you to feel free to discover those around you in a way perhaps that you haven't before. For every single human being has the same needs and wants, and that is the connection spiritually to something that makes sense for them. And sometimes it's the land, and sometimes it's a prophet. But whatever it is, it makes sense to them, and they take the hand of God and they feel loved. And believe me, it is outside of a survival box. It's beautiful here in the morning, in the red center of this continent. You walk outside and realize that you would have to travel. If you did not have a vehicle, you would have to travel on foot for weeks before you saw anything different than what you see before you now. There's a stillness and a beauty that can speak to you if you let it. The land here has not been spoiled. It is still pure, and the messages from the land are still for you. This is why you came here. A little later today, I would encourage you to discover. Perhaps you'd like to stand alone for a moment without disturbing or being disturbed, and say to Gaia, what is it you want to say? And some of you, if you would open the box even a little, will be surprised. An overwhelming sense of benevolence and love, and the message would be clear. All is okay. Later today, we're going to talk about evolution and what it might mean. But dear ones, there are so many of you with different purpose in the room. And yet all together, you have one thing in common. From my standpoint, sitting on this stage with my partner in this chair, after all of these years, I can say there's only one thing I see that is overwhelmingly synchronistic for all humanity and you in the room. And that is this: family. All. Surrounding you in this place, there are an esoteric group of ancestors that would represent the tribes or mobs or whatever you want to say from every single one of you. And they are different cultures and different colors, all together, asking to be discovered as one. Saying to you that the days of separation are leaving, and that there will be a meld, even of cultures, that is appropriate and honoring and beautiful when you care about each other. And you can look upon the differences not as strange or odd, but as something to discover, because you want to know. Respect for each other's belief systems is going to be a staple of peace on earth. Right now, you can see what we told you you would see. A radical change, black and white becoming even stronger in their differences. That is to say, the hate, the frustration, the lack of love, being something palatable that you can watch on the planet as it begins to separate for the final time, the last gasp of evil. and the majority of the earth starting to awaken to a different concept, you can really get along. You do not have to absorb another's culture to get along. The box is not needed. You can carry your own light in benevolence and love and still understand and respect the other, arm in arm with the other. And when the other wants to sing a song line and you don't know the words or the song, you can sit there and enjoy and feel. And when you want to play your favorite tune on your iPod, the other, who may never have heard it before, can smile and enjoy and love you for it. Melding cultures is not hard with benevolence, with understanding, and with discovery. You have relatives that don't understand you. I know who's here. I'm talking about at home as well. It's like another culture, perhaps, for you to visit some of your relatives, even the blood ones that are pure. I want you to discover them. I want you to discover benevolence in them. I want you to look at them and understand that God loves them as much as you. You may be the only bridge for their peace. And they may look at you and say, you're odd and you're strange and you have a culture that you have designed that is so bizarre, we don't want any part of it. And you can look at them with the eyes of discovery, trying to find that which is benevolent that you can say or show or be, that will not trigger their buttons or make them frustrated or angry. And no matter how much they would throw at you, your mastery will shine through. That is discovery. Humanity is on the cusp of shift. We have told you that there are more years of this to come, and you don't want to hear that. But the stars will tell you how long, and the ancients who kept the calendars and know how these things work have given you the schedule. But free choice will drive how much you discover. When you go home and you go back to work, there is discovery in the office, not sameness. You can look at those differently, the structure differently, the problems differently, the boss, the clients. There is no frustration there if you don't accept it. This is the light worker and the reason you're here. Your discovery for yourself changes the energy of consciousness in your space. Do you hear this? Your discovery for yourself changes the energy of the consciousness for your space. That means that wherever you walk in discovery, the earth knows you, and you change where you are and where you've been, and leave an imprint with the footsteps of mastery wherever you are. It is a concept that is understood here. It is not bizarre, and it's not new, and it's beautiful. More than concepts, dear ones, these are compassionate actions. Discovering what is around you that is apart from you, that you then absorb as part of you, creates a larger you. a larger them, and a handshake with the planet that you've never had before. The ancients stand around you at this time, and they look at you and say, do you really understand the potential of the planet? All of the ancients in this room right now participating in this know what you know. The earth will never be the same. You cannot go backwards. And the precession of the equinox has always been the key, the time when it would start or end. You chose not to end it, it's clear. But changing from one energy to another is always difficult. And the ones in this room and listening to this are the ones to make the difference. For you're willing to listen. And that's why you came. Some of you understand what has been said today, for there are metaphors aplenty. And some do not. And the ones who do not, it's all right. For there'll come a time when you might, if you wish. Loved everyone. Appreciated and honored everyone. I'll say it again. There is no such thing as being alone. You cannot if you try. Years ago we said, go ahead, try. Lock yourself in the closet. Feel sorry for yourself. Be a victim. And in the corner that you can't see is a legion of angels who are willing and ready to take your hand when you're done crying about yourself. That's how profound it is. The earth is always ready. The creative source is always ready. Never will be tired, never sleeps, always there. Knows who you are. Time for you to discover it. Time for you to discover it. For now, so it is.